In 1990, a television version of Ferris Bueller decided the best way to introduce itself to audiences was by having its new star take a chainsaw to a cardboard cutout of Matthew Broderick. Yeah, that actually happened. And folks, that pretty much tells you everything you need to know about Hollywood's obsession with turning beloved movies into weekly TV shows. Today, we're counting down 12 of the most spectacular failures in the history of movie-to-television adaptations, spanning from the late 70s all the way to 2003. These are shows that took iconic films, stripped away everything that made them special, and somehow thought audiences wouldn't notice. Spoiler alert, audiences noticed. So grab your popcorn, settle in, and let's count down from 12 to 1. The worst TV adaptations of great movies. 12. Starman, ABC, 1986 to 1987. We begin our countdown with a film that earned its lead actor an Academy Award nomination, the only Oscar nomination in director John Carpenter's entire filmography. The 1984 film Starman starred Jeff Bridges as an alien who takes human form, delivering a performance so tender and vulnerable that it landed him in the Best Actor race.
Scott.
The film holds an 82% on Rotten Tomatoes and remains a cult favorite. 2 years later, ABC launched a series with Robert Hayes stepping into Bridges' role. Michael Douglas, the original film's producer, even served as executive producer. On paper, this had legitimacy. But ABC made a fatal scheduling error. They gave the show the Friday 10 p.m. slot against powerhouses Falcon Crest and LA Law. Critics called the show a drag, noting that formulaic storylines added nothing new to the genre and became boring after the first 5 minutes. They declared Hayes miscast in the role Bridges had done so well. Despite fan clubs called Blue Lights, organizing letter-writing campaigns and petitions demanding renewal, ABC canceled it after 22 episodes. Sometimes even passionate fan bases can't save a show from its own mediocrity. Number 11. Baby Boom, NBC, 1988 to 1989. Diane Keaton earned a Golden Globe nomination for the 1987 comedy Baby Boom, which grossed nearly $27 million, capturing the yuppie zeitgeist of the 80s. Her comedic timing, what one critic called seamlessly fusing toughness with charm, made the film work. NBC's adaptation actually had significant advantages. The original film's writer-directors, Nancy Meyers and Charles Shire, came on as creators. They insisted on no laugh track, which was unusual for 80s sitcoms. Sam Wanamaker and the Kennedy twins even reprised their film roles. Kate Jackson stepped into Keaton's role. But despite all that creative continuity, she couldn't match Keaton's specific energy.
You're kidding! What a big girl!
You did a good job, too.
Critics noted that while Jackson had homespun Southern charm, she just couldn't do the kind of reversals that created the laughs in the film. The show also eliminated the Vermont and baby food business storyline that gave the film its satisfying arc. NBC put it on hiatus in December 1988 after promising creative changes. Of 13 episodes produced, only 10 aired, with the rest burned off in summer 1989. Even having the original creators involved couldn't guarantee success. Number 10. Logan's Run, CBS, 1977 to 1978. Let's travel back to where it all began. 1977, when CBS decided to adapt one of the decade's most visually stunning science fiction films. Logan's Run hit theaters in 1976 and earned $25 million on a $9 million budget. It won a Special Achievement Academy Award for visual effects and featured a bold premise: a dystopian society that executes citizens at age 30. CBS hired Ivan Goff and Ben Roberts, the creators of Charlie's Angels, to develop the series. Gregory Harrison starred as Logan, with Heather Menzies as Jessica. The problems started immediately. The series premiered just months before Star Wars would revolutionize audience expectations for science fiction. CBS demanded a family-friendly tone, eliminating the film's death ritual and any sensual elements. The budget was so tight that the show relied on reused clips from the film, clips that critics noted appeared dated even upon the 1977 premiere. CBS constantly shuffled the time slot, essentially abandoning the show before it had a chance. Critics noted the stories looked like they were cranked out in record time on a shoestring budget. Of 14 episodes produced, only 12 aired. The network, by most accounts, didn't care whether it survived or not. Number 9. RoboCop, the series. Syndication, 1994. Paul Verhoeven's 1987 RoboCop was ultra-violent, darkly satirical, and scathingly critical of corporate America. It earned over $53 million, holds a 92% Rotten Tomatoes score, and won an Academy Award for Best Sound Editing. So naturally, if someone decided to turn it into a children's show, the 1994 syndicated series was deliberately made lighter and softer, specifically targeting fourth graders and older. RoboCop no longer killed criminals. He used non-lethal gadgets to incapacitate them.
Shooting, partner.
You don't know what you're doing, Diana.
No?
The biting satire was dulled down to Batman-style camp. They even made action figures that said, "Say no to drugs." With a budget of over $1 million per episode, the show was expensive to produce. 22 episodes aired before it wasn't renewed due to those prohibitively high production costs. Critics noted the CGI aged pretty poorly, and any edge the franchise once had was completely sanded down for Saturday morning sensibilities. When your R-rated satire becomes a PSA delivery system, you've lost the plot entirely. 8. The Bad News Bears. CBS, 1979 to 1980.
Make some personal appearances, get to know the wife and kids again.
I don't have a wife and kids.
The 1976 film The Bad News Bears holds a 97% Rotten Tomatoes score, one of the highest-rated comedies of its era. Walter Matthau's sardonic, beer-swilling, foul-mouthed coach and a team of kids who cursed like sailors created comedy gold through sheer irreverence. CBS looked at this and thought, Saturday night family television. Jack Warden stepped in as Coach Buttermaker, with a young Corey Feldman joining the cast. But you simply cannot translate this material to network TV without gutting everything that made it work. The cursing kids became wholesome. The alcoholism became quirky. The film's rude, profane, and cynical tone became standard sitcom fare. CBS made matters worse by constantly moving the show between time slots. The audiences, confused by the frequent time changes, stopped tuning in. The show was canceled just 3 episodes into its second season, with 3 episodes left unaired. It would later find life in reruns on Nickelodeon and Comedy Central, but the sanitized product never captured what made the original special. Number 7. Working Girl. NBC, 1990. Mike Nichols, 1988. Working Girl earned over $103 million worldwide, received 6 Oscar nominations, including Best Picture, and won Best Original Song. Melanie Griffith's Staten Island secretary, navigating corporate Manhattan, became a feminist icon. The TV version launched in April 1990, starring a then-unknown actress named Sandra Bullock. 4 years before, Speed would make her a household name. She nabbed the role just weeks before shooting when Nancy McKeon dropped out. Critics were harsh. Tom Shales of the Washington Post wrote that the film wasn't much of a movie, but Griffith's dewy-eyed charm saved it. And by sharp contrast, the TV version has precisely 0 compensations. The San Diego Union complained that Bullock lacked the fuzzy but tough quirkiness Griffith brought to the role. The Chicago Tribune called it but an embryo of the real thing. The show earned a 34 on Metacritic with 0% positive reviews. NBC canceled it in May 1990. Of 12 episodes produced, only 8 aired. The show did get brief TV Land reruns in the mid-90s, but only after Bullock became a major star. Number 6. Dirty Dancing, CBS, 1988 to 1989. The 1987 film Dirty Dancing was a genuine phenomenon.
Now I had the time of my life.
$64 million domestic, over $170 million worldwide, on just a $5 million budget. It won an Academy Award for Best Original Song and became the first film to sell 1 million VHS copies. Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey's chemistry was legendary. CBS rushed a series to air in October 1988, just 14 months after the film's release and simultaneously with the home video release. No original cast returned. Melora Hardin took on Baby, with Patrick Cassidy as Johnny. Here's the thing. Critics actually praised the new leads. Some suggested Hardin was a better Baby than Jennifer Grey, and that Cassidy had a better feel for Johnny Castle. But the format killed it. 30-minute episodes couldn't sustain a romantic arc that needed a full film to develop. And the Saturday 8 p.m. time slot meant the target demographic was out on dates rather than watching TV. The premiere drew 14.5 million viewers. By the finale, just 7.5 million. CBS pulled the plug when the show failed to maintain viewership above 10 million. Melora Hardin later played Jan on The Office, and Paul Feig, who played Norman, went on to create Freaks and Geeks and direct Bridesmaids. Number 5. Uncle Buck, CBS, 1990.
Hey, how you doing?
Who are you?
I'm your Uncle Buck.
John Hughes' 1989 comedy earned nearly $80 million worldwide, with John Candy delivering his signature role as the lovable slob uncle. Candy's buffoonish yet charming presence made the film work. The TV version made a bizarre creative choice. Instead of the film's temporary babysitting situation, the series killed off the parents in a car accident, making Buck the permanent guardian. The kids joked about their parents having bought it when their number came up. Kevin Meaney stepped in as Buck. The pilot also featured young Maisie, telling Uncle Buck, "You suck," believed to be the first time this phrase was used on network television. Critics destroyed it. The Los Angeles Times called Meaney crass and unrelatable versus Candy's charm. The Deseret News declared it the worst new show that fall, not only vulgar and tasteless, but simply not funny. John Hughes was reportedly displeased. The show was canceled after 16 of its 22 produced episodes aired, desperately moved from Monday to Friday nights in a failed attempt to salvage ratings. 6 episodes were left in the vault. One bright spot: a young Lacey Chabert appeared as a neighbor girl before going on to star in Party of Five and Mean Girls. Number 4. Fast Times, CBS, 1986. Amy Heckerling's 1982 Fast Times at Ridgemont High earned over $27 million, launched Sean Penn, Phoebe Cates, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and Nicolas Cage into stardom, and would eventually be inducted into the National Film Registry. The film worked because of its frank, R-rated depiction of teen sexuality, including an abortion storyline. So how do you adapt that for 1986 broadcast television? Apparently, you hire Moon Unit Zappa as a teen slang consultant and hope for the best. Heckerling herself came on as producer. Cameron Crowe served as creative consultant. Ray Walston and Vincent Schiavelli reprised their film roles. Danny Elfman's Oingo Boingo provided the theme song. None of it mattered. Critics compared the sanitized result to nothing more than Peach Fuzz Punky Brewster. One reviewer suggested it would be better if the network turned the hour over to repeated tests by the emergency broadcast system. 7 episodes aired before CBS canceled it. The silver lining? Patrick Dempsey played Mike Damone before becoming McDreamy on Grey's Anatomy. Courtney Thorne-Smith went on to Melrose Place and Ally McBeal. Claudia Wells was the original Jennifer in Back to the Future. Number 3. Casablanca, NBC, 1983. Let's talk about hubris. In 1983, NBC looked at Casablanca, A film with a 99% Rotten Tomatoes score, 3 Academy Awards including Best Picture, and consensus status as one of the greatest American films ever made, and said, let's make a TV show.
I'll meet you at the station.
All right, at 4:45. Say, why don't we get married, Marge?
David Soul was cast as Rick Blaine, the role that defined Humphrey Bogart. Hector Elizondo played Renault, Scatman Crothers took on Sam, and a young Ray Liotta appeared as Sasha. The show took a prequel approach, stripping away all the wartime urgency that gave the movie its stakes. The Germans became buffoonish villains comparable to Hogan's heroes. David Soul, despite his efforts, couldn't capture Bogart's iconic presence. Nielsen ranked the show 91st for the season. The AV Club noted there's no good reason to watch this outside of curiosity. One reviewer remembered watching the first episode in 1983, hating it, and declaring it a TV series that deserved to die. Here's the irony. Julius J. Epstein, one of the original film's screenwriters, wrote 2 episodes. The show won an Emmy for Outstanding Cinematography. None of it mattered. NBC pulled it after 3 episodes, burning off the final 2 in late summer. Only 5 episodes were ever produced. Some films should simply never be touched. Number 2. Ferris Bueller, NBC, 1990. Ferris Bueller's Day Off earned over $70 million and was later inducted into the National Film Registry. Matthew Broderick's fourth wall-breaking charm made Ferris a cultural icon. The TV adaptation starred Charlie Schlatter, and in that infamous pilot, he took a chainsaw to a cardboard cutout of Broderick, essentially telling fans to forget everything they loved. John Hughes refused any involvement and asked that his name not be used to promote the show. Critics were merciless. Tom Shales wrote, "If this is the real Ferris Bueller, then will the real Ferris Bueller please shut up?" The Orlando Sentinel called Schlatter's performance a thoroughly irritating television experience, suggesting this Ferris can have the whole year off. The Boston Globe noted that Broderick's Ferris was someone kids wanted to hang with, while Schlatter's is someone they'd want to hang. Entertainment Weekly simply called him an insufferable little twerp. The show earned a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes. A sneak preview drew nearly 23 million viewers, but audiences fled immediately. By October, NBC admitted it was already in danger of cancellation. The ultimate irony? Fox's Parker Lewis Can't Lose launched that same fall with a similar premise and ran 3 seasons. Ferris was canceled by December and replaced by Blossom, which became a hit. And that actress playing Jeannie, Jennifer Aniston, 4 years before Friends. Number 1. My Big Fat Greek Life, CBS, 2003. And here we are, the most spectacular failure of them all. My Big Fat Greek Wedding was a genuine miracle. $241 million domestic, the highest grossing romantic comedy in history, with a staggering 6,000% return on its $5 million budget. It stayed in theaters for 88 weeks and received an Oscar nomination for Best Original Screenplay. CBS's adaptation had everything going for it. Nia Vardalos returned and served as co-creator. Michael Constantine, Lainey Kazan, and Andrea Martin all came back. Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson executive produced. The premiere drew nearly 23 million viewers, the highest-rated sitcom debut since 1998, and then came the collapse. Week 2, 16.6 million. Week 3, 13.3 million. Week 4, 12.4 million. Week 5, 9.7 million. By episode 5, the show had lost 57% of its audience, the most dramatic ratings freefall in sitcom history. The problem? John Corbett, the beloved Ian Miller, couldn't return due to his commitment to another CBS show. His replacement, Stephen Eckholt, was universally criticized for having no chemistry with Vardalos. Viewers called him a total putz. Variety noted the characters behaved as if the only way to express ethnicity is to scream. The New York Post gave it half a star, calling it lukewarm leftovers, about as funny as spoiled spanakopita. Others observed that whatever charm the film had was sucked away by adding a laugh track. CBS canceled the show after just 7 episodes. Corbett had agreed to guest star in a future episode, but the cancellation came first. This wasn't a case of a network making bad choices. They had the original star. They had the original supporting cast. They had Oscar-winning producers. They had the highest-rated premiere in 5 years. And they still failed. What these failures teach us. So what connects all 12 of these disasters? Missing star power proved fatal every time. Bogart, Matthau, Candy, Broderick, Swayze, Gray, Bridges, Griffith, these actors delivered performances that defined their films. Television replacements simply couldn't replicate that magic. Network sanitization stripped away what made original films distinctive. RoboCop's satire became a kids' show. Fast Time's frank sexuality became Punky Brewster. Bad News Bears profanity became family sitcom Pablum. The rush to capitalize backfired repeatedly. Dirty Dancing premiered while the VHS was hitting shelves. My Big Fat Greek Life tried to monetize success before audiences moved on. And episodic formats killed narrative arcs. Films like Working Girl told complete stories. Weekly sitcoms required ongoing conflict that undermined satisfying conclusions. But here's the silver lining. These failures became launching pads for future stars. Jennifer Aniston, Patrick Dempsey, Sandra Bullock, Lacey Chabert, Paul Feig, Ray Liotta, all appeared in these failed shows before achieving major stardom. Sometimes failure plants seeds for future success, just not for the shows themselves. So the next time you see a headline announcing yet another beloved film is getting a TV adaptation, remember these 12 cautionary tales. Some magic simply can't be bottled for weekly consumption. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this countdown through television's graveyard of failed adaptations, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments, which of these shows do you actually remember watching?